Reminder that each day we need to remember, to honor, to thank the men and women who have sacrificed on the behalf of a nation whose foundational belief in freedom and equality shall never be compromised. As we gather to watch this game we love, we understand this indulgence has been preserved throughout time by the soldiers of our nation. With that knowledge, we sit back and enjoy the Rockies hosting the American League's Seattle Mariners. And once again on this Memorial Day, we get ready for a little baseball. It's one way to arrive at the ballpark. Another great crowd expected as the Rockies will play 2 here against Seattle and then move to the Pacific Northwest for an evening game Wednesday and a day ball game on Thursday. Welcome to Interleague Baseball, the Rockies' second series against an American League club this year. They took 2 of 3 in Minnesota on their last road trip. With Jeff Hewson, I'm Drew Goodman. We are thrilled that you're with us on this Memorial Day. Rockies smiling broadly. They have the best record in the National League, and the fandom from near and far, as we were discussing a moment ago, they too are thrilled with how this Rockies team is performing as they get ready to conclude the month of May in the next few days. The Rockies and Mariners see each other during spring training, so there's familiarity. And they've played a fair number of games through the years where the National League West matching up with the American League West, and there are plenty of ties between Seattle and the Rockies. Mike Hampton's out in the bullpen, for instance. He's a bullpen coach with the Mariners. Scott Service, who's a good friend of yours, lives still in the state of Colorado.
Down by Larkspur.
Yeah, manager of the Seattle Mariners. Of course, Jerry Dipoto, who's a good friend. Jerry's now the general manager of Seattle, one of the brightest minds in baseball. So a lot of connections.
Yeah, and he played against Seattle in 2015, so you have that. But every year in spring training, the last 2 games are against Mariners. So you kind of get that last part of spring training out of the way, so you do know it. But it is a different animal right now when you're talking about spring training and going into the regular season.
Emotions always run high on Memorial Day. There's so many connections for so many of the players and people in the front office to family members or close friends that have served in the military. Tyler Chatwood gets the honor of pitching on this Memorial Day 2017. And the Rockies at home, traditionally very good on Memorial Day. They're 6-3 at Coors Field in previous Memorial Days. And Tyler's coming off a great performance. Last time we saw him, he was his dominant self.
7 innings, gave up only 1 hit, and that came in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs to Andrew Knapp. At 8 strikeouts, season high 8 strikeouts. I mean, he was good from the first pitch to the last pitch. In this ball game, he had 100 pitches starting the 7th, just needed 12 to get through there. It slowed down his delivery, which I thought was real key. His tempo, his rhythm was good. He had a good cutter, good changeup. So he's looking to translate that here at home, because this year, a little bit like last year, his home ERA is above 6. Compared to out on the road, it's 3.06. And his BABIP's a little bit higher at home than it is. So Tyler understands that. He knows what the numbers say. But I think especially with this ball club, if he utilizes all 4 pitches today, because that's going to be key, because you got some monsters in here. You mentioned it, Drew. You got Cano, you got Seager, you got Cruz. Those are the hard, and Gene Segura leading off. Those guys, they flat out rake fastballs, and you can't just fall into a fastball trap.
No, and he has thrown the curveball more with great effectiveness, and he's got some confidence naturally coming off that performance that Jeff just described in Philadelphia. There's Gene Segura, Rockies killer. He's just flat good is the bottom line. In his first year in Seattle, came via trade from Arizona, so the Rockies know him well. Ben Gamel's in left field, then Robbie Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager. That's a formidable 3-4-5 in their lineup. Danny Valencia has been swinging it well. Then Mike Zunino, the former Royal, Jared Dyson, you know he can run. and a young pitcher, at least in big league experience, Sam Gaviglio. So we're set for baseball. The first pitch of the ball game is right down Spear Boulevard, strike one on Gene Segura. He's leading the American League in hitting at .339.
It's still probably underrated. But we had the fortune of watching him in Milwaukee, in Arizona, watching him in spring training. This guy, can hit, and he's also a bad ball hitter.
He went after a bad ball there, and it's 1-2.
And I mean that in a complimentary way, where I say he's a bad ball hitter.
Well, you played with one of the great bad ball hitters of all time, Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah, Vlad, as soon as it left the hand, it was in the hitting zone.
Here's the 1-2, and that's fouled off. Gene Segura, I would agree, has been underrated. Former Brewer, put up some nice numbers with Milwaukee, moves to Arizona, and last year, his season, not just against the Rockies, I mean, he beat up everybody. 200+ hits, 100+ runs. Didn't offer the slider in the dirt. It's 2-2. And usually there's an adjustment, Huey. You played in both leagues. There's usually an adjustment, getting used to, American League pitching. You haven't seen guy. He doesn't care.
It doesn't matter for Gene. He going out there. He's got 13 two-hit ball games this year.
And a swing and a miss, I believe, or was there a foul tip?
I tag him.
Gene's hanging around, but now he's out. Now he's out. So Segura, strikeout victim. A nice start for Tyler Chatwood. Scott Service asking Gene. He goes, "Do you get a piece of it?" So with one out, that'll bring up Ben Gamel.
I'm just looking. Segura's looking up at the big board. As a hitter, you know whether you fouled it off or not. I mean, there was never a time where you sat there and go, well, I don't think I got that, but I'm going to act like. No, you either know you did or you didn't.
Gamel is playing quite a bit because of the injury to Mitch Haniger. He did an oblique, and then in his rehab, he kind of tweaked the other side. Remember what kind of spring training he had, and he was doing that during the regular season. This is going to be a base hit up the middle for Gamel. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Gerardo Parra getting another start. Why not? He threw out 3 hits, including a 3-run home run yesterday. He's in left, giving Ian Desmond the first part of the day off. Blackman and Cargo with him. Cargo had yesterday off, other than a late appearance to drive in a run with a sac fly. Trevor Story back at shortstop. LeMahieu, Reynolds, Nolan naturally at third. Tony Walters has the gear on. Robbie Cano saying hello to everybody, tapping the shin guards of Paul Emmel. Hi to Tony Walters.
Hello.
7-time All-Star, 39 jacks last year for Seattle. And Robbie with, I didn't realize I was going to swing, but I did. You know what that looked like to me at 95? That's like, man, he's got a little more giddy up than I was anticipating.
Yeah, I saw the scouting reports, but I don't believe it. And when it came up high, he said, well, that does have more. And the fear as a hitter when that happens is that you make contact and hit one back to the pitcher.
And he's tardy on that.
Mercy.
Hopefully,
oh my goodness,
everybody was awake on that third base line. That went in hot. Hold my breath every time that happens. Please, 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 when you're on the open side, pay attention. 2 strikes. And that just missed. 1-2. Cano hitting .336 against right-handed pitching. .294 overall. He's on pace to it for another 30+ home run season. And a swing and a miss, and Robbie Cano is gone on a fastball above the hands at 95. 2 outs, 2 punch outs for Chatwood.
The first pitch to Robinson was up and then to finish him off on the Subaru Supermo, also up. It looks inviting, then you can't get it.
As great a hitter as Robbie is, he was a day late swinging at that.
Yeah, it looked like he had the donut on the bat still. That doesn't happen very often with Robbie.
So here's Nelson Cruz, and you always got to be careful with this guy. Go fastball up, misses ball one. Cruz is one of 3 players over the last 8 years to have 20 home runs or more in each of the last 8 years. You name the other 2?
Not off the top of my head.
Swung on and missed. I wouldn't have gotten this in a week's worth of guesses. Brian McCann.
Yeah, that one would have totally escaped me. He wouldn't have even been on my radar.
Wouldn't have been on mine. Here's the 1-1, and he went, snap and throw to first.
Tyler must have something today. They're not picking it up, at least in this first inning, because that swing by Cruz, we saw Gene Segura make one, and Robbie swing it too.
Especially fastball.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one, very quickly, and this is why I wouldn't have thought of it. It makes a lot of sense when I say it, but because he just retired, you're not thinking of it. Big Papi.
Oh, sure, sure.
In the air to shallow right. This is going to be a problem if it's fair. It is not, fortunately. Gamble, who was already at third, will come back. Cargo will make a fan happy as he flipped it into the stands. If you don't have hair these days flowing out of the back of your helmet or your hat, you're just not cool.
You gotta have it, and it's got to be down to the shoulder length too, not just a little bit.
Did a radio show. We do a radio show with Charlie every 10 days, 2 weeks, and we did it at a local establishment here after the game yesterday. And I'm telling you what, they were lined up out the door.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie's great, and everybody wants their picture with the flowing locks. To your point of a moment ago, I know the curveball's been great, but they're not seeing the fastball. I wouldn't be surprised here if they go up again with the heater. 1 and 2 on Nelson Cruz. They go away and they get weak contact. Great start for Tyler Chatwood. Gave up a hit to Gamble, 2 strikeouts, and that little ground ball. We'll see the Rockies on offense when we come back. Weekend long, he's honoring the Marine Corps, and he'll lead things off for the Rockies. He's hitting .330, big baseball with 45 driven in, a .366 on base percentage. Here's Buddy Black's lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. DJ will have bat right behind him naturally. Nolan will bat third, then Cargo in his customary cleanup spot. Mark Reynolds, Gerardo Parra, Trevor Story, Tony Walters, and Chatwood. Nolan, we'll make note of, has reached in 15 consecutive ball games. Nolan stayed late last night looking at video of his swing. And up early taking a look at a young guy he doesn't have a lot of familiarity with, making just his third big league start, his fourth big league appearance. 27-year-old out of Oregon State University, Sam Gaviglio.
And they got Sam for a trade from St. Louis for Ty Kelly. Well, and even Scott Service didn't know who he was because he didn't even see him during spring training. So the first time he met him was when he got called to the big leagues. The changeup is the key pitch to left-handers. That's one he likes to throw about 60% of the time.
And he has a below-average fastball by velocity standards at the major league level. He's 88 to 90. The extreme first base side of the rubber. And this ball is hit well to left. Long run for Gamble, and it is foul. Each of the last two ball games, Charlie's hit the ball well to left or left center field in his first at bat. Both were outs.
Yeah.
But he drove the ball in that direction.
And then again, sometimes it's about the process. How is my swing? Is it patterned the right way? And for Charlie right now it is, because he's taking balls the other way that are pitched the other way. You know, if they make a mistake in, then he'll yank it to the pull side. And this is a hard one too, because you're facing a guy that has 3 major league starts right now, or 2 major league starts, 3 major league appearances. You don't have a book. What's he going to throw? You got to go percentage and you got to go changeup.
And Charlie stayed back. How much does it help, Huey, that if you are, sitting soft, the fastball doesn't have the big time velo? Huge.
Because if you have the velo even up to 93 to 94, you're not going to be able to foul that off. 89, you can deal with it. And that was just a fight off inside pitch, another fastball.
This at bat, even though it's only 5 pitches long, the longer it goes, has to be helpful for the guys that are intently looking on, who are going to come up in a moment or two.
Yeah, so if somehow Charlie gets out, he'll go back in the dugout, relay all this information.
And that ball's driven to right, but it was hit too hard. Cruz makes the catch.
That's 3 straight games now for Charlie. He could have let off the ball game with a base hit.
Can't hit it any better than that. That's where you remember your process was great. Result not what you wanted, but you can't swing it better. Here's Seattle defensively. Cruz for just the 2nd time in the outfield. Naturally, he's a DH. That's what happens during interleague play. Dyson's a great center fielder. Gamble can run and throw. In the infield, Seager and Valencia. Valencia's a former third baseman on the corners. Cano's great with the hands. Segura at short, solid. Zunino behind the plate. And a strike on DJ LeMahieu. Ball and a strike. Rockies at 33 and 19. And that's off the plate. 12-2-2 their last 16 series, or all of their series, if you will. And in the month of May, 17 and 9. And it bears repeating. We've told you this a couple times of late. The Rockies, for the first time in franchise history, a winning April and a winning May. 3-1.
And the teams are beating are some of the teams that you should beat, but then other series are winning against really good clubs.
I'm glad you pointed that out. They have played an upper echelon schedule, particularly in the month of May. They've played a lot of heavyweights. That's ball 4. DJ good at bat. You even include a couple of teams that maybe initially you thought, well, they're going to be also rans this year. Milwaukee's in first in the National League Central. He took 3 of 4 in the opening series of the season at Miller Park. Minnesota is having a great year. The Rockies won 2 of 3 up north. And here's some more tidbits on what the Rockies have done so far. 8-0-1 their last 9 series. That's just playing steady, high-level baseball.
Well, I like the other one too. 5-1 in rubber matches. They're 14-5 following a loss. All these numbers. 14-5 after a loss. That's another impressive number.
Well, they did it yesterday after being shut down 3-0 on Saturday night. A convincing 8-4 win. Broke it open late, as they've been prone to do, with a 4-run 8th inning.
They just keep the pressure on you the whole time.
Nolan's fixing to get hot. He's been, as we described, he's getting on base 15 straight games, but he hasn't had that stretch yet where he hits 5 bombs in a week, that sort of thing. You know it's coming.
And it must be nice, though, to be in one of those where you're still hitting 288, 12 home runs, 34 RBIs.
It's called I'm really good.
I'm a great player, yeah.
1-1.
Just nip the outside of the Subaru strike zone.
And that is just foul. I'd tell you one of the things that'll change for Nolan also. Against righties this year, he's hitting just 238. He's hitting 431 against lefties.
Yeah, that'll change.
Last year, he hit 304 against righties.
That's what I'm saying. It'll change.
Sunny a little while ago. It's kind of gotten overcast. 1 out, DJ at first. We're at the bottom of the first.
Too.
What's that?
Cooled off a little too.
Yeah, it did. 66 degrees. And that was a smart move by Gavilia. That's a double play. He let it go, knew it would be an easy play for a middle infielder. Robbie Cano grabbed it. They turned 4 double plays yesterday in beating Boston 5-0. Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2017 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. By the Wyoming Office of Tourism. Wyoming is full of adventure. It's time to find out if you are too. That's why. TravelWyoming.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. This is the Wing of Blue parachute team. Not on my bucket list, Huey.
I was going to say, not my mode of transportation, I can tell you that. Never has been, never will be.
Kyle Seager at the plate. He takes ball 1. We go to the top of the 2nd inning. Kyle, at 6.5 years older than Little brother Corey. You like to tease Kyle though, because Corey got all the height.
Yes.
Corey's about 6'5".
Different body types.
They're truly different body types.
But what they have in common, they can flat out rake.
They can rake. 2 balls and a strike. And they have another brother who's in the Seattle organization.
It's in Double-A.
Yeah. There's Stu. The reason we're showing Stu is Stu knows the Seegers well. They're all from North Carolina. It's 3-1. And Stu always has a good time visiting with Kyle during spring training when Stu's coaching third and Kyle's over there at third base. Those guys develop, you know, sometimes really nice relationship. Third base coach and the guy who plays third. That's a strike. 3-2.
That happens at first too, with the first base coach and first baseman. Yeah, right at the top of the Subaru strike zone.
Third brother is Justin. And that's pulled foul past Casey Candell at first.
Oh, Casey. That's a character at first base.
Did you play with Casey?
Yeah, I did. Maniac at third.
Swung on and missed. Pulled the string on a beautiful pitch. 3 strikeouts in the early going for Chatwood, and it looks like he has the whole arsenal, doesn't it?
Well, and that's what's made him effective recently, because he's throwing changeups in counts that used to be fastball or sliders. And so for hitters, excellent rotation on the Subaru Supermo. Saw it coming out of the hand. That was a changeup. But before, it was fastball, hard fastball, sinking fastball, or a slider. You didn't have the other pitches come into play.
Here's Danny Valencia, the former Twin. Takes ball 1. Career 3 for 5 against Chatwood. Some of these numbers, though, are, I don't want to call them ancient, but Chatty made a start against Seattle back in 2011 when he was pitching for the Angels as a kid.
And he was just a pup. I think prehistoric is kind of the word, because that's too long ago to have any sort of history on how he throws then and what he throws now.
1 ball, 1 strike on Valencia, and that's chop foul. You know what you remember when you look at the information, just how talented Tyler Chatwood is and was, in that he's just 27 right now. In 2011, he was in the big leagues on a good team.
And really hadn't been pitching for very long either, because he's more of a shortstop outfielder. Pitched a little bit in high school, yeah, but not a full-time pitcher only.
Chatty with a 2-2 count on Valencia. DJ shifted up the middle, and that is going to keep the bat alive. Go slider, and he gets a 2-hopper to Story, spinning, throwing. Out is the call by first base umpire Quinn Walcott. And Scott Service immediately whipped his head around to see what his video team tells him. That's a great play by Story.
He had to range so far to his left.
He's out.
He is out. Now right here on the Subaru Supermo, look how far out he is stretched. That's a long way to go to reach for a ball, because now by the time you get your hand in there, you have to make sure you got a grip. And when you spin your head, you've heard me say this before, spinning your head is so difficult, because when you do that, you sometimes have a tough time picking up where that first baseman is, because you spin around so fast, you see a lot of everything, but not one particular person.
This ball lined to left, it's fair into the corner. And Mike Zunino, the struggling catcher, is going to have a 2-out double. Zunino was just 2 for his last 29.
Now think about that play Trevor just made.
Well, Huey, we were visiting with your old teammate, and guy has become a good friend of, well, you've been good friends with him for a while, but we do a lot of broadcasts with the Mariners during spring training. Mike Blowers, and Mike's next door on the television side. We're comparing notes as we do as broadcasters with the opposition. There's Blow, and you said to him, which is 1,000% accurate, you said this club, talking about the Rockies, gives you 27 outs, and that's it. And then we were discussing, sometimes it's less than that because they take away, as Story just did, what is ordinarily a hit.
Great point, because if that goes into center field, then you got the swing by Zunino. You don't know what's going to happen, but Trevor comes up with a rangefinder. When you're talking about range, that is way above major league average range. And then the strong throw to throw him out.
They're going after Dyson here. It's early in the ball game. Dyson's hitting just .224, but again, you have on deck a pitcher, an American League pitcher. So this is where the National League has you would hope, the decided advantage. First base open, and Dyson swings and misses. It's 2-1. I like when teams do this. Chatwood has great stuff because it's early in the game, and if you can get Dyson here, next inning you hopefully start out with what you'd assume is 1 out. You're the pitcher leading off.
Sometimes you don't like going after that 8th place hitter. You just feel better than the matchups. You're not so worried about what's going to happen in the 5th or 6th inning. I like trying to get this guy out here,
especially given, and it's not a knock on Jared Dyson, but his strength is defense and running when he gets on base. He's not a prolific hitter, and he's struggling this year. Make one more pitch. Outside, 3-2.
Overthrew that changeup.
Two on Dyson, and this ball's pretty well hit. Cargo's got a beat. Boy, that thing carried a little bit. Cargo had to reach up and leap at the end to make the catch. So a double by Zunino. He's left at second. Middle of 2, no scored Coors Field. First of 4 between the Rockies and Mariners. 2 here, 2 there. Gerardo Parra and hopefully others against Sam Gaviglio in the bottom of the second inning. Fans, when the Rockies score 7 runs or more, as they did yesterday, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day. You must go between 4 and 6, and then you get your Rockies taco special.
Well, as Cargo comes to the plate, let's revisit that catch he had in the top of the second inning. Not sure he realized how hard this ball was hit, but the timing of the leap was pretty good, because he had to use every bit of that body and the glove to reach up there and make that play. And again, Cargo's defense this year has been top notch. You know, all those range factors, all those other metrics that I don't like, people have him listed as a below average outfielder. We'll watch him every day.
He's a way above average outfielder. That's why he's won Gold Gloves.
Yeah, that's why I'm off those.
Shift is on, and that pitch is on the outside corner for a strike. 3 Gold Gloves for Cargo, 2010, 2012, 2013. 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner. 1-1. Cargo came up in the 8th inning yesterday and delivered a fly ball to left field to score a run. 17th RBI for Cargo. And that's a ground ball to Robbie Cano. Mark Reynolds, he threw out a base hit to drive in a run yesterday, his 43rd. And Mark ended up 2 for 4, scored a couple runs. Rockies had a base runner briefly in the first inning. DJ walked, but then Nolan hit a ground ball right to the second base bag, turned into a double play. And now they're going to shift the other way for Reynolds. Which is interesting because they, talking about, I should say first, Mark has a lot of hits the other direction.
And Seattle does. They shift quite a bit. They're not afraid to do it. A lot of times you'll see it with the left-handed hitter. We saw it with Cargo, but not as often with the righty. I think it also has something to do with the pitcher and the velocity with which he throws or lack thereof. This guy's just moving Cano back onto the second base side.
And that's because their data indicates with two strikes, there is a greater likelihood that he'll hit the ball to the right side. Tried to nick the corner with a slider. It's off the Subaru strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Mark. And that's just outside.
It's a good eye too, because you start to feel like as a hitter, well, you know, he didn't call that one. I know it was a ball the pitch prior to that, but he goes back out there again. You start to get a little anxious. What's the umpire going to do?
If the umpire feel like he missed one, that kind of thing. And again, he went outside.
Hey, now, give Paul Emmel some credit. That's 3 pitches just outside the strike zone, on the Subaru strike zone. Pitches 3, 4, and 5, and he hasn't bought or said, yeah, those are strikes.
Crew chief Paul Emmel, outstanding umpire. Here's the 3-2, and this is in the air to left field. This is one of those deals where I really believe first time through is going to be a fact-finding mission, and then look out. Yesterday, Gerardo Parra provides us with today's Mako big hit. 1-0 ball game, and he did it again against Lance Lynn. He has terrorized Lynn in his career. 13 for 26. That was a 3-run jack. Our Mako big hit. Parra is and has always been so professional, not playing nearly as much as he did in April once he and Desmond came back, but in his last 6 starts, .467 average, couple home runs, 8 driven in. And he's got the Rockies' first hit here, and that's going to shoot to the left field corner. Stay hot, Gerardo, and it gets away for a moment. And Gerardo will stop at second, which still is a wise move. So a two-out double for Parra.
It's such a luxury for Bud Black because he can play all three outfield positions too. So you figure I'm going to get him in enough where he's not going to lose his swing on the Subaru Supermo. He stays inside the baseball, slices it down the line. Left fielder Gamble watches it careen off the wall, but recovers enough to go get it to keep Gerardo at second. That's his fourth double this season.
Charlie and Nolan have played every game but one. And at some point, Charlie begrudgingly will be given a day off, and you can throw Parra out in center field. You can throw Amarista in center field. Up and in on Story. He's hit 7 home runs.
And you touched on it earlier, Drew, where the pitcher stands on the rubber on the complete first base side, that he doesn't really like pitching into right-handers. He wants to work away to them. That's his comfort zone.
Strike on Story, 1-1.
Because the sight line's easier for him to get it to his glove side than it is his arm side.
Trevor, who seems more relaxed at the plate, has been going to right field with greater regularity. Pitch me away, I'll take you away. He can hit it out to all fields, as you know. 1-1.
Sometimes when pitchers are do that as a hitter, when you get back into the box, you just go ahead and scoot up 2-3 inches on the plate. And nobody notices. I mean, the catchers, I know they're always looking down, but if you walk into a different spot, he's not really going to notice if it's just a couple inches. But that helps you cover that outside pitch easier.
One, two. I like how you described that, Huey, because there's a subtle difference, isn't there, between getting in the box and then stepping, moving forward, and then it's pretty clear to the catcher, as opposed to I'm just going to step in a different spot with my back foot.
Right, and it might be the same toe hold area. You know, you still might be behind the plate, but if you just move up closer towards the plate, they don't know that. They can't see that.
And Paul Emmel again not giving that pitch that's off the plate to Gavilia. Not strikes. You can see on the Subaru strike zone. Good eye from Story. Saw Mark Reynolds with a good eye out there in his at bat. 3-2, 2 outs. Parra at second. Dyson shaded now toward right center as they try to pitch away to Story. And Story drives this to center field. Dyson's got to come in. And that'll be all for the Rockies in the second. They get their first hit. Parra's double will go to the third, scoreless. this way. And there's our jump team today. Were they wearing khakis when they jumped?
Probably. That's how relaxed they are.
Guess so. Sam Gaviglio is going to lead things off, and he takes ball one as we begin the top of the third inning. Drew Goodman, Jeff Hewson, and another one of our partners has joined us. The only athlete left of our analysts, Corey Sullivan. I'm sorry, Huey. That shot really was not directed at you. It's more directed at it's the ongoing shot at Spilly.
Spilly?
Yeah. That's a base hit for Gaviglio. That's his first major league hit. That's not supposed to happen.
No, it's not. But sometimes when you get a cookie, you got to eat it, right?
Well, Corey just came back. The reason we're calling Corey an athlete still is Corey just came back from Cooperstown, where Spilly was last year. Played in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame game representing the Rockies. And I was telling you, I didn't realize you'd never been to Cooperstown. For Huey and I know I can speak for Jeff here, our favorite town in America.
It is so picturesque and so beautiful, and these are some of the pictures that I took, obviously, as my first experience walking around the town and everything. But the people there are really what makes it up, and it was incredible. My first morning there, I walked out of the hotel, and there was a father and son on the front lawn playing catch. And I mean, everything about that town is baseball related. And
did that hit Segura? It did.
Yes, it did.
Now you got a little problem after the base hit by the pitcher. You have 2 on, nobody out, and the 2-hole hitter and Ben Gamble coming up.
They get the wrist or the fingers. Not that either one of them is really good. Get a better look on the Subaru Supermo. Oh, right off the back portion of the left hand. Those are the ones you get where it'll pinch your hand against the bat.
Robbie's already spent some time on the or Gene spent some time on the disabled list.
Those are the hamstring
this year with the hamstring.
And this one, these always hurt. The trainer comes out, he grabs your hand, he says, "Squeeze mine," or he'll start poking at that area. Does this hurt?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. 'Cause
yes.
You're digging your finger into it. It hurts.
Some of those, you just need some time for
Yeah,
the sting of the.
Just let me have my moment, please.
Right.
Yeah, but it only gets sore as the game goes on.
Yeah.
There's no avoiding it. It's gonna leave a mark, and it's gonna be sore.
And I understand why. I mean, I'm just kind of giving the trainers a hard time. I understand why they go out there and do it. You know, they're just making sure that there's nothing broken immediately, but it hurts like the dickens.
It does.
So Gamble up there with 2 on. He had a base hit up the middle his first time. The beauty of Tyler Chatwood is he has a very high ground ball rate. Always has.
7 ground ball double plays this year. It's tied for 9th most in the National League.
Misses up and in there. So you're in Cooperstown, and I told you I gave you a restaurant or two, and I know you went out to dinner and had some good meals. When you're at the Otesaga and looking over the lake, is that not gorgeous?
I think you described it best by calling it just fresh out of a Norman Rockwell painting. And I mean, it's so beautiful, and the people are incredible. And there's a look at some of the guys, and just to think that I got the opportunity, obviously, to play with some legends of the game and walk through the halls of Cooperstown where the ghosts are. And we took a lot of flack when you see my name at the top of that list.
Come on, right there.
Yeah. You should be leading off. Is that a baby?
Yeah. How about that?
We had a long lineup when you got Wally Joyner hitting 8th.
3-0. Chatwood's got to dial back in. Very good in the first 2 innings.
Because who you have coming up next? Cano, Cruz, and Seager. The gauntlet for Seattle.
He's a strike 3-1. And that was at the very top of the Subaru strike zone, barely clipped it. Now the bases are loaded for Robbie Cano, and there's nobody out. We've seen this before. It's not a revelation. Tyler will go and he'll look like a world beater, unhittable stuff, and then all of a sudden his command disappears for a period of time.
And that's sometimes it's hard to explain because his stuff is so good. that he just loses that feel momentarily. He loses the arm slot. I think that's more than anything. He loses his arm slot, and it doesn't matter what pitch it is.
No, he gets a little quick. His front side starts pulling and the arm starts trailing, and when you do that, you miss up in the zone or away to left-handed hitters, and that's really been his problem.
And Robbie hits this late down the line foul. He overmatched Cano his first time up, striking him out. 3 strikeouts in the game for Chatwood. I wonder if, because he's an emotional guy, I wonder if the disappointment or the anger after giving up the hit to Gaviglio affected him in the next 2 hitters.
It's possible, because what happens when you get that, you start to want to do more and go harder, and when you do, you come out of your mechanics.
It also can affect your mindset. You know, you're so single-minded and so focused on executing the pitches that you kind of get shocked when the pitcher gets a hit like that.
And this is bounced foul, 0-2.
Now do they climb the ladder again where they struck him out last time?
You were watching from downstairs. We remarked up here that it almost looked like, you know, Robbie doesn't really have a book on Chatwood, that you can read that he sits 94, but when you get in there against him, especially a short arm guy who's not tall, who's really 5'10", 5'11", that it gets on even quicker than the scouting report may say, or the video shows, right?
Yeah, and I think also the opposing teams get a scouting report that he relies on his sinker so much that when he throws 96 up, it looks hard.
And that kicks away, and that's going to cost the Rockies a run. A wild pitch by Chatwood, so Tyler having a rough inning. A walk, a hit batter, and now a wild pitch when he was ahead 0-2 on Cano. 1-0 Mariners.
Not much Tony could do. He tried to block it, careened so hard over towards the dugout, allowing the pitcher to come home.
And now the double play is no longer a possibility. Nelson Cruz on deck. So many great years with the Yankees.
9 years for Cano with the Yankees. Kind of forget. I know he played for, but 9 years.
I mean, he's arguably the best second baseman offensively and defensively for a decade.
And that would have been a double play ball. Instead, it's an RBI ground out. It's 2-0 Seattle.
You could tell Robbie just cut his swing down to get that run in and get another runner over, because they have been starved for scoring runs. Yesterday they broke out with 5, but the previous 2 games they were shut out both times in Boston. And then you go back even the last 8 games prior to that, it was just 9 runs.
Buddy Black's going out here. We're in the 3rd inning, 2 runs in, and he hasn't said anything yet. Let's watch. There were 2 statements there. The only thing I could decipher, some of you guys probably better lip readers than me, but after each statement it was all right, and he wasn't looking for a response.
No, that was, I'm talking, you're going to listen.
And I think that's the benefit of having a pitcher as a manager too, is he's coming out and letting him know what he expects, what he needs to do, and how to go about executing it.
And now Cruz with a runner at 3rd. Tyler, when he's had one of these innings, we've complimented, and rightfully so frequently, the young pitching staff of the Rockies for being able to limit damage. And unfortunately for Chatwood, it's been several times this year the other direction, where instead of giving up just a run or 2, it turns into a more ugly number.
And I think for today too, you're looking at with the opposing pitcher making this just his 3rd major league start. I don't think 2 or 3 runs is going to be a big number for you to overcome.
No, I think offensively these guys are going up there chomping at the bit.
Yeah. But you got to make sure when you do that, though, you still stay under control, because he's a guy that can kind of spin you out of control, and you come away more frustrated.
Yep.
2-1 on Cruz. And that's going to score a run. Great play by Nolan to get the out. 3-run inning. And Chatwood is still hopping mad, understandably.
Cruz drives in his 42nd run. He had come in first in the American League, tied for 5th in all of baseball. But Nolan with the bare hand on the Subaru Supermo and changes the grip. As soon as he catches it, he changes it to get a good seam to throw over to first with.
Shift on for Seager. And that bounces up there. That's just, you know, it's just a different guy this inning than what we watched the first 2 innings, where he was sharp. About a 2-to-1 ratio, strike to ball.
I just looked at it, 58 pitches through 2 2/3.
1-1. So what I didn't know about until I chatted with you earlier this morning about the Hall of Fame game, the arms, they're not throwing BP to you guys, huh?
They were not. They made it really difficult on the hitters. I went 0 for 4 with 3 groundouts and a strikeout. Faced Aaron Harang. He was probably throwing 80 to 85, seeing some sliders,
still
seeing
big,
some changes.
still big guy
still
out there.
Big guy, still throws the invisible fastball above your belt. And obviously my strikeout was against Sean Marshall, which I didn't face him when I played. That was
right. That's not fair. Right?
That's not fair.
He still throwing a slider to lefties, right?
Strike 2 was a slider. Strike 3 was a curveball.
Overall, that experience, though, for you, congratulations. I don't care what you know for, it doesn't matter. I mean, that is just a neat experience.
So I've been underqualified for a lot of things in my life. I think that kind of took the cake. Having an opportunity to talk with Wade Boggs was incredible, but one of my favorite moments was Phil Negro, Nuxie as everybody called him, giving us our pregame pep talk. And basically went through, have fun, don't get hurt, and then he ends with, oh, and situationally, if you need to, you lay down a bunt.
Because he was unbeaten, right?
Yeah, he was 8-0, and Ozzie Smith was 0-8. He didn't want to give up the win.
Ozzie got his first win.
He did. We lost.
3-0, rough inning for Tyler Chatwood. CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Go to @RootSports_RM to cast your vote. We'll show you the results during the post-game show. What are you throwing on the grill today? Burgers, dogs, steak, chicken, or for me it would be E.
Salmon, let me guess.
Salmon, yes. You know, because we spend so much time there, I eat salmon like 4 to 5 times a week. Love salmon.
Well, sometimes more because you'll have it for lunch and dinner.
Oh, that's true. That's right. Love salmon. One strike on Tony Walters leading off in the bottom of the third. Walters chat with Blackman. The Rockies all of a sudden behind 3-0. And what a frustrating inning, because the Mariners had one hit. That was the pitcher, Gaviglio, leading off with a knock to center field, and you end up giving up 3.
I know, and wrote it in my book after that half inning. You know, 1 hit, 3 runs. You had a walk, a hit by pitch. You had a wild pitch, a couple ground outs. And that's the frustrating thing about it. It's one thing to give up 1 run, then 3. But now it's time for the offense to get going against Gaviglio.
There's a great bunt, and Zunino still made the play.
Wow.
Where he put that baseball,
I thought
that's definitely going to be a knock.
Because this ball ends up right in this area right there. Okay, so catcher Zunino had to come up. You couldn't have laid it out there any better if you were Tony, but it was just a better play from the catcher, because he comes out hard, bare hands it, and spins and throws in one motion on the money to first base to get it by a half step.
Yeah, terrific play by Zunino. Strike 1 on Chatwood. This is going to be an easy play for the shortstop, Segura. 2 outs. Join in on the conversation. Send us your questions or photos or statements. Use Twitter or Instagram. Include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Starting to spit a little bit. Good go. Nobody on for Blackman. Career .322 hitter against the American League. He's hit 13 home runs in interleague play. So far this year, the American League, same old story. They lead the National League 52-38. National League has not won the interleague battle since 2003. Charlie was 5 for 13 in Minnesota. And this ball's launched to deep right field. Does it have enough lift? You bet. Home run, Charlie Blackman, number 13. And the Rockies put a marker up.
And number 46. That is RBIs for Charlie. Well, second time through, Drew.
We were discussing that.
Charlie got the pitch. Put that iron wall out in right center field. You just hoping that it had enough. It had plenty. Just a mid-thigh on the Subaru Supermo, and Charlie gets the launch on it, takes it out, gets 1 run back.
The line shot. There's LeMahieu. DJ walked his first time up. Charlie leads Major League Baseball in several categories. 71 hits, 46 RBIs, 7 triples, 23 multi-hit games. And that shot foul.
Just tells me he's a really good player. When we talk about all of baseball, all the great hitters, all the great players, and they do it from the leadoff spot.
Last year, he had 29 home runs, 17 out on the road. He's just steady. I mean, we talk about last year with Charlie, naturally, because it's nearest in our mind. but a couple of years ago he announced to Major League Baseball. He was pretty good. 287, 17 home runs 2 years ago. He had 19 home runs in 2014.
Also stole a bunch of bases that year.
Stole 43. LeMahieu strikes out. That's the first strikeout for Gavilio. The Rockies get a home run from the bearded one. It's 3-1 Seattle through 3. Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean and Crisp Coors Light. How about the Rockies rookies? Every day we can throw a stat out at you that has you shaking your head. 12-3 in the month of May. Only one team over the last 80 years has had 12 or more wins from rookie starters in a month. It was the Marlins in July of '06.
On that Marlins team, remember Scott Olson, Anibal Sanchez, Ricky Nolasco, Josh Johnson, and Yasmiro Petit.
Remember Josh Johnson, how gifted he was? Could just never stay healthy.
No.
Danny Valencia takes strike one. Chatty wants to just recalibrate, put that last inning behind him, start throwing up some zeros like he did early in the game. That's going to be a base hit. Seven-hole hitter coming up, Mike Zunino. He doubled to left his first time.
Zunino has always had the label of prospect, and he kept waiting for it to break out, and it just hasn't happened at the major league level. Does everything he needs to do down at AAA.
He was the third pick in the 2012 draft. He takes a strike. Just turned 26 in March. But when you're drafted that high, naturally come big expectations. Product of the University of Florida. They went to three straight World Series, College World Series, won the Golden Spikes Award, the Johnny Bench Award, the Dick Hauser Trophy Award.
Sounds like a little bit like Buster Posey, what he did at Florida State.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, the difference obviously has been at the big league level, where Buster's been great, and you know, Mike's still trying to find himself. Comes from a baseball family. His dad is a scout with the Reds. His mom was a catcher on the Italian national softball team. Good bloodlines to play this game, huh?
Well, since he can remember, he's had a bat and a ball in his hand.
Gavilio played for Team Italy, by the way, in the WBC.
They had quite the run.
And Gavilio came to the Mariners in a trade with St. Louis for Ty Kelly, who played for Team Israel in the WBC. That misses, and it's 3-2. It's a big pitch right here.
Yeah, it is.
Coming off an inning in which you gave up 3 runs on 1 hit. You have a runner at first, nobody out, and now you're full on Zanino. And he lost him. You just wonder what happens. Is it a mechanics thing? Is it handling the emotions? Because we know how gifted Tyler is, and in the first 2 innings you really couldn't pitch much better. Weak contact, 3 strikeouts, lots of swings and misses.
Remember, it happened in San Diego earlier this year.
You have to get somebody up. That's why you see Steve Foster on the phone.
Assuming it would be Jordan Lyles.
Can't play yourself out of it early in a ball game. Munoz, the bullpen catcher.
Maybe Chris Russin. Chris only threw 17 pitches yesterday.
Tell you what, Chris is the one who's jogging up there. And that misses. 2-0. And 3-0 on Dyson. I'm sure people at home knew you weren't a pitcher, but they're wondering, oh, how do you miss, and then okay, it gets to 3-0, and you throw one,
even as
at 95, right where you want it.
Yeah, sometimes you wonder that as a position player too.
And this could be 2 even on Dyson. There's 1 and 2.
Wonderful.
Boy, is that what Tyler Chat would have needed in the worst way.
58 double play turned by the Rockies this year, and this needed to be in this location too with Dyson's speed.
It's about the only way you turn 2 on Dyson.
Yeah, and it's nice when you don't have to make the flip as a shortstop. You can take it yourself. You step on the bag on the Subaru Supermo, and then have the arm strength to throw Dyson out by a step.
Now you got to get the slugger Gaviglio, who had a line single to center in that 3-run 3rd inning. It was the only hit. He was leading off. It was his first major league hit. And he falls behind again, 2-0. And that's what happens. We talk about this so frequently. You see the Subaru strike zone, you don't get borderline pitches. So a nice job by Chatwood recovering, and hopefully that gives a little confidence moving forward. He wants to talk to home plate umpire Paul Emmel as he goes off 3-1. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. And by USAA. Join USAA in honoring our fallen heroes. This is the Armed Forces Tribute Garden in Westminster. And to me, and I think to all of you, today's Memorial Day, but it's a reminder that every day we memorialize, we remember, and we honor those that have fallen and those that continue to serve.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my father-in-law who served in the Air Force and my son-in-law who served in the Army. So thank you very much for your service.
Stu Cole III visiting with Stu this morning. His father was a Marine, two of his brothers Marines. We thank the Cole family. His dad was an MP in the Marines. Here in the bottom of the fourth inning with the Rockies trailing against Sam Gaviglio 3-1. It'll be Nolan Arenado, Carlos Gonzalez, and Mark Reynolds. Rockies' lone run came last inning on a 2-out home run from Charlie Blackmon, his 87th career home run. 46 here at Coors Field, 41 out on the road, almost a 50-50 balance. Wind's really picked up.
Yeah, it is. Blowing in from left center field.
In between innings, Paul Emil, the crew chief, was visiting with Mark Razum, the head groundskeeper, to get a weather report. And this is to the shortstop, Segura.
Player-elect is back for this season. You can elect a Rockies player to celebrate during the Tuesday, June 6th game. Buy the ticket package and get the exclusive player t-shirt.
Cargo grounded out his first time up in interleague play. He's hit .322 with 26 home runs and 84 driven in 131 games against the other league. Last year he led all of baseball with a .483 average against the AL.
Some big-time names on that, at least for the first couple. Right behind him, Victor Martinez and Josh Donaldson.
Donaldson back healthy again. Fifth on that list is a guy that was with Seattle. He's still with Seattle. He was DFA'd recently. Went through waivers. He's now in Tacoma playing. Leonis Martin, the former Texas Ranger. They've said, I know you spent a lot of time with Scott Service, your old buddy, this morning, and Scott was relating to you that they may need Martin back if for no other reason than his energy level.
Yeah, he just provides that. Some guys do that. They just bring everybody else up. And you know, Scott said they had to send him out, and it was unfortunate because they, you know, he's on their opening day roster.
They
and
traded
said,
Tom Wilhelmsen to get
one of their power arms in their bullpen, and then they've missed his energy out on the ball club and just bringing everybody else up. But his numbers just weren't good enough. But playing better down in Tacoma.
A 4-pitch walk to Cargo with 1 out. The wind is really picking up. It's beginning to rain once again.
It was absolutely beautiful this morning when you got to the ballpark.
I'm going to turn to my left and ask our resident meteorologist.
Did you see Antonio said no more rain? Come on, no more, please, no more.
Dougie, what do we have? What's it look like? He's giving me the shaky hand.
He says intermittent is what he's saying. Not going to be terrible. Just reading lips here, Drew.
Doing a good job. Outside, ball 1 on Reynolds. Mark hit a fly ball to left.
He says we're going to keep playing.
Reynolds has the 4th best average in the National League right on right. Sitting .346 against righties. .320 overall. Outside. You can see the pattern with Gaviglio.
It hasn't deviated. It has been, I'm pitching to my glove side and that's it. I might show it inside, but no. I don't want to come in there very often. Gaviglio is 36 and 39 and 107 starts in the minor leagues.
He was a tremendous pitcher at Oregon State. He was a freshman All-American. He was hurt his sophomore year. His junior year, he was a second-team All-American, and then drafted after his junior year. Range really picked up. And that's a swinging bunt. Almost threw that so lightly. Reynolds beat it. He picked up a wet baseball, I'm sure. 2 outs, Cargo at second for Parra.
A wet baseball, but what a lot of pitchers are afraid of throwing the ball real hard to first base.
That's no fun.
No.
Parra shot a double down the left field line his first time up. 4 for his last 5 at the plate.
12 for 29 with runners in scoring position. 414 clip.
And a base hit. Cargo around third, gets a green light. Here's Gamble's throw. It's going to be high. And Parra comes through yet again. The Rockies within a run. 2 out, not for Gerardo Parra.
I just gave you the numbers at 414 with runners in scoring position. Gonna go up. Up to 433. It's just staying inside the baseball. Not trying to do too much with it. Soft serves it to left field with the wet grass. Gamble comes up firing. Cargo comes home easily, and the Rockies pull within 1.
Starting to rain in the booth, partner, which it takes big wind for that to happen.
It seems like it's blowing straight in from center field.
They had a little oopsie going on there. Danny Valencia wasn't holding on Parra.
They had to call timeout so he could move back into position. I guess there's no stealing in the American League. I don't know.
0-1 on Story. Story hit a fly ball to Dyson in center his first time up. Parra takes off. Zunino's throws on the bag, and he's going to get a perfect throw from Mike Zunino to cut down Gerardo Parra. In the inning, the Rockies get a run on the base hit by Parra. It's 3-2 going to the 5th. The Mariners leading.
I think that they're the most underappreciated line of work in the entire world. They do a lot for us, and sometimes they take heat when they shouldn't.
Thank you to all the men and women that serve our country. I really appreciate you all giving us the opportunity to come and play baseball every day.
Three to 2 Seattle. The Rockies on defense in the 5th inning. We'll see Gene Segura at the top of the order. Tyler Chatwood hit him his last time up in that 3-run 3rd inning. 1 hit. Gaviglio led off with a base hit, and then Segura got hit. Gamble walked to load the bases, and then there were 2 RBI groundouts after a wild pitch that scored a run. So Chatwood, more than ever, needs a quick inning. The Rockies have eked out a run in each of the 3rd and 4th innings. Right back on offense. 1-1 on Segura. 1-2.
And you hope he's just buoyed by what he did last inning. I know he had a base hit and a walk to the first 2 batters, but they got the double play and easy ground ball, got out of it. And no more runs were added on.
Good to see him working ahead here. 1-2, and that's fought off. Tell you a wild number on Segura to give you an idea how great he was last year, and he's having an extraordinary year this year. Last year, he became one of 8 players in the history of the game to record a season with a 300 batting average, 100+ runs, 200+ hits, 40+ doubles. I'm not done. 20+ homers, 30+ stolen bases. Think about that. I know there's like 38 categories there, but Segura did it. Jose Altuve did it last year also. Jacoby Ellsbury with Boston in 2011. Hanley Ramirez with the Marlins in 07. Rafael Soriano in 02. The Yankees. Biggio, a Hall of Famer in 98. Walker in his MVP season with the Rockies in 97 did it. Ellis Burks in 96 with the Rockies did it. Again, 300 average. Who did I say? I said the wrong Soriano.
You said Rafael.
Yeah, not Rafael. Alfonso Soriano. Yeah. 300 average. This ball's well hit to right. Cargo, with the wind blowing in, will make the play. 300 average, 100+ runs, 200+ hits, 40+ doubles, 20+ homers, 30+ stolen bases.
And yet he's still underrated.
Sometimes it's about the market you play in, right?
3 kind of small markets with Milwaukee, Arizona, and now Seattle.
Yeah, and Seattle's a,
I mean,
Seattle's a big market, but people don't see their games.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not that it's a smaller market like the other 2. It's just you don't see them. They're so far up there. And, they're not on a lot of games of the week. Their games don't finish until 1 in the morning back east.
0-1 on Gamble,
But
0-2.
they do have something going for them this year that they haven't had in the past. They're second now on the list as far as miles traveled. Oakland beat them out this year. They're going to travel about 47,000 miles.
Just inside their division, every flight is of decent length. Oakland's the closest team. It's over 2 hours, and that is punched to left past a diving Arenado for a knock. It's a shame you were ahead 0-2. Made a good pitch. Sometimes you make a good pitch and good things don't happen.
No, Gamble just went with the pitch.
Robbie Cano will come up. 0 for 2, though he did have a good at bat in the 3rd to drive in a run. Got a ground ball to DJ on a 1-2 delivery. It was on the 0-2 delivery to Cano that the wild pitch was uncorked and scored the first run against Chatwood. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors for Seattle. 2 runs, just 3 hits for the Rockies, no errors. But down. 90 pitches in now here in the 5th inning for Chatwood.
He's due up third next inning. I know last time out he threw 112 pitches, but that was 7 innings worth.
I still think it'll be interesting. I still think if somehow he gets double play ball here, that if it's somewhere in that 94, 95, 96 range, you can see him come out for the 6th inning. It's a 1-run game, and
it also depends on what happens with the first 2 hitters next inning.
Yeah, but Buddy's so mindful of protecting his bullpen. Busy week, no off day in sight. 4 against the Mariners, 3 in San Diego, and now it's a base hit, and Gamble, who runs well, is going to go to third.
Well, your next off day is not till come home from San Diego a week from today.
Two on for Cruz. The Albuquerque Isotopes became the green chili cheeseburgers, where they become that on June 16th. They'll take on a flavorful identity that is unique to New Mexico. Get your gear and check out Bringing the Heat at abq.com. Look last night, the Topes have been playing good baseball for G. Hill.
Lost last night to Oklahoma City and shut out. Still in first place in the PCL Pacific Southern Division, 27-23. Tapia had his hit streak snapped at 19 and an on-base streak snapped at 28.
He's had an incredible year. Cruz has an RBI already today. That's 2-0. Scott Oberg is now thrown in the Rockies' pen.
And I think this will be it.
Yeah,
only
well, based
because
on the last two now,
hitter,
yeah.
But other than the first inning, nothing's been easy. For 4 stressful innings. The double to Zunino in the second, still that drive to right field.
It just comes and goes, because at the start of this inning, he was firing strikes. Gamble had the 0-2 hit, and now he's 3-0 on Cruz, and he's a pitch away from loading the bases for Kyle Seager. You had to make a pitch there. There's no way Cruz was taken on 3-0.
Well, with this power, he's going to cut it loose.
You're not going to get any movement from Cano, probably even here 3-2, because he has a sore quad. He spent time on the DL, just came off recently. They say he's still trying to protect it. So I don't think Scott Service is going to put one of his big stars.
Well, he doesn't need to lose him again.
Yeah, in motion. Not going.
They had to put Cruz in the lineup. This is his 3rd start all year in the outfield. He's a DH. But they need his bat. Previous 2 were at Washington.
Remember that play that unfortunately he did not make in the World Series.
Texas.
We're wanted for Texas. And that misses. Ball 4. And now the bases are loaded. For Kyle Seager, strikeout and a ground ball to short for Seager. Three walks and a hit batter today for Chatwood.
It's where you hope he hits the ball on the ground, but for Seager in 173 at bats coming in today, the only grounded into 3 double plays.
Got a lofted swing. It's one of those guys that, like, Daniel Murphy, they've really bought into launch angle. Chatty gets ahead 0-2. It's got to be so frustrating for Tyler. He knows how good he is, how good he can be, and
how good we've seen him.
yeah. He's pitched 2 of the best games for the Rockies this year. We've seen a number of well-pitched games, but he also will have these bouts in the middle of games. He just comes and goes with command.
He has a batting average against just 229 overall.
Tough to hit against.
His off-speed pitches or breaking balls, it's one of the lowest batting averages against, 0.73 in baseball.
A tough hitter at the plate. Seager had 30 home runs last year. 5 straight years he's hit more than 20. Mariners up a run, 3-2, top of 5. 102 pitches in for Chatwood. Seager was an all-star in 2014. Boy, that's a great block.
Really
Always
good
say
block.
the toughest pitch for a catcher to block is a fastball in the dirt, because you don't expect a fastball in the dirt. You call breaking ball, you call slider, you call curveball. Sometimes by design you want that in the dirt. That looked like it's cut on it.
Yeah, but still, even at that, just got to make sure your body stays soft.
And that is into right center field, a base hit. That'll score 2. It'll be a double for Seager. Cruz to third, and it's 5-2 Seattle. RBI 17 and 18 for Seager, and Buddy Black's coming out, and he's making a move. The issues at Coors Field unfortunately continue for Tyler.
On. Fans, I'll tell you right now that you're attending the game on Tuesday, June 6th. You'll receive an LED bulb upon exit, courtesy of XL Energy. The Cleveland Indians in town just for a quick 2-game set. Rockies will go to Cleveland in August. New pitcher for the Rockies, Scott Oberg, 24th ball game. Last appearance was 2 days ago against St. Louis. 1 inning, gave up a hit, clean across the board.
he's in a sticky situation. This is a stay in the ball game moment because you're already down 3 runs, middle innings, and you have runners at second and third with just 1 out. So I mean, you gotta get outs, punch outs if possible, to prevent more damage.
And I think you also might have to play the infield.
You got to bring him in here.
You got to bring him in.
Valencia at the plate. He had a base hit his last time up, robbed of a hit on a ground ball up the middle by Story his first time. Tyler Chatwood, just a very difficult outing after the first 2 innings when it looked like we were marked, man. It looked like he had all his stuff working. He was pounding the strike zone. And then the command went away.
The Rockies are going to keep their infield back, especially up the middle. I think with Valencia and Zunino coming up after this, I mean, you got 2 guys that will strike out. But it's going to be imperative for Scott to do that right now.
Hey, are they playing back because Cruz is at third who doesn't run well? I mean, you're down 3.
I just think they probably don't want that little blooper where you go down by 5. And maybe with 2 strikes, then you bring them in.
You got 2 strikes now. See how the Rockies play it. Mariners in April, when Haniger was healthy, were one of the top offensive teams in the American League. They figured to be. Hit a lot of home runs a year ago, but after the injury to Haniger and Robbie Cano was down for a while, they have not been a good offensive team. In May, here's the 0-2 and a base hit. Around third is Seager. He'll stop at third. And an 0-2 base hit given up by Oberg, and that's been one of Scott's issues. It's that he has great stuff, but will leave stuff in the middle of the plate. And there's no reason for that here.
Slider backed up on him. That was the pitch that got hit. The slider took the loss in Philadelphia. But that's 2 batters this inning. They've got no 2 hits. Gamble had the one to left field.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good pitch by Chatwood. It just was a ground ball in a location that wasn't covered by a Rockies infielder. Zunino takes a strike. It's the first time the Mariners have scored 6 runs in a game since May the 10th. They've been hitting .219 since, averaging less than 2.5 runs a game. To underscore what we were talking about. 96 on the fastball. It's 0-2. Oberg in the same spot he was a moment ago on Valencia. Strikeout of Zunino. That's the 2nd out. That'll bring up Dyson.
And that's the spot he wanted the slider to Valencia.
Dyson, fly ball to deep right field. Cargo made a nice play on, and then he grounded into a 6-3 double play. Nolan moves in on the grass to defend against the bunt. 2-0.
Dyson has 9 infield hits.
Third base conversation over there.
guys that can hit, huh?
It's 3-0 on Dyson. Pitcher up next.
We're just going to put him on.
So Gavilio, not good when the pitcher's up for the 3rd time in the 5th inning. His first hit, I'm trying to say, in his major league career in the 3rd. He grounded to short his last time up. Bases loaded.
So scored his first major league run that same inning.
9 guys have come up in the 5th inning. Chatwood got the first man, Segura, then the hit by Gamble. Canoa hit. Cruz walked. Double, single. After that, 0-1. Seattle was playing at Fenway over the weekend. They won yesterday 5-0. They matched the season high with 16 hits. Usually you think you get more runs when you have 16 hits. But that followed Friday and Saturday where they didn't score at all. In fact, they went 21 innings without scoring in Boston. So they finally got something going.
Boy, just reading some of the comments in the ball game. After that game, Nelson Cruz is saying that was embarrassing. Some of the other guys saying, I think we've hit rock bottom.
The stopper for him yesterday was the former Rocky, Christian Bergman. 7 shutout innings. He allowed just 4 hits, had 4 double plays turned behind him. Here's the 1-2. And he gets the strikeout in the inning. 3 runs come in, and now the Rockies have to get the bats going. They're down 6-2. Let's go back to our, well, oh yeah. No, we're not doing that. Never mind. What I was supposed to read there didn't make any sense, so I'm going to read this for you. It's our T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. And check this out. Notable players who have served in the armed services during their careers: Yogi Berra, Rapid Robert Feller, Ted Williams, Hank Greenberg, Warren Spahn, and many others. And we thank all of those late greats for their service. 2 big leaguers were killed in the line of service. So the Rockies down by 4 runs. It'll be Trevor Story in the 5th, Walters, and then we'll see. Oberg is due up. Rockies do have action in their pen, so you'd assume a pinch hitter down by 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th.
Jordan Lyles is up in the pen for the Rockies.
Rockies have not done much with Gaviglio. A home run in the third by Charlie Blackmon. Parra singled in Cargo. But the Rockies have just only 3 hits against Gaviglio, who's
We gave up
not
5.
overwhelming with his stuff.
No, he gave up 5 runs in his last start, but only one of them was earned. There was an error by Segura, allowing 4 runs to come in after that.
This ball's well hit to right, way back, got a chance to fly, gone, goodbye. Trevor Story with his 8th of the year. And that is what he has been doing. More and more, letting the ball get deep and going the other way.
And you especially have to do it against somebody like Gaviglio. Trevor did it in Philadelphia to right center field and now to right field. Still plenty of outs left. I mean, you've given up 6 runs, but there's still plenty of time left in the ball game. And now you get a little bit of momentum back in your dugout. For Trevor, he has 126 career major league hits. 68 of them have been for extra base hits. 8th on the season, 18th RBI.
6-3, Tony Walters at the plate. Gamble making a mad dash. Look out. I mean, did Matt not see the stands? I mean, I respect how hard he's playing, or excuse me, Ben. But he never broke stride. That's not going to move, Ben.
I know there's some padding on there, but still it's a brick wall. But when you're one of these guys trying to make an impression, you got to keep going. But at some point you have to realize that you're not going to win that battle with the wall. Little ninja Alexi Amaris has come to the on-deck circle.
Ground ball to Cano. One guy. And Amarista will hit.
On this Memorial Day, Major League Baseball and the Colorado Rockies are proud to once again participate in the national moment of remembrance as we pause to remember the brave men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to our country. We ask that you please stand and join us now in this moment of silence as a collective, unified expression of gratitude to the heroes who lost their lives while protecting the freedoms we enjoy today. Thank you.
Will pinch hit in front of Charlie Blackmon. Ball 1. Rockies 13-3 in opening games of series. Had a real good year. 379 since April 22nd.
5 for 11 as a pinch hitter, a home run, 3 RBI.
Yeah, starting games with Pat Vallejo while Story was on the DL. Dyson makes the catch. That'll bring up Blackmon. A line out to right, which he couldn't have hit it any harder. And then he said, all right, the heck with that. I'm going to line one over the wall. And he did.
The only person that can catch that's a fan.
For a teammate.
Yeah, or a teammate. out in the bullpen. Off the wall. His 13th home run, 46 RBI. The ball traveled 406 feet.
And that's to the first baseman, Valencia. Rockies get a run on the Story opposite field home run. They trail 6-3 as we go to the 6th on this Memorial Day at Coors Field. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. I wonder which day are Americans more involved with their grill, Memorial Day or the 4th of July?
I think I'm going to go with the 4th of July.
I'm going to go the 4th of July only because you know it's going to be warm out, right?
Yeah.
Jordan Lyles takes over in the 6th inning. Top of the order, Gene Segura 0 for 2. He's hit by a pitch and scored in the 3rd. Final line on Chatwood. It was a rough day for Tyler. It started out great. First 2 innings, he looked particularly sharp. 4 1/3, gives up 6 runs, all of them earned on 7 hits. He walked 3, struck out 3, and hit a batter 105 pitches.
ERA climbed just above 5 to 5.04.
Lyles' last 3 outings have been much better. And Jordan's going to have the baseball here, barring a poor performance for a couple of innings, you would think at least. It's a real opportunity for Jordan. This ball game very much very much in doubt still in Coors Field. 6-3 with that Rockies offense. Rockies still have 12 outs to work with, so Jordan could put himself in a situation where the offense gets going. He can be on the plus side of this thing.
And hopefully pick up his first win of the season, scoreless against Jordan the last 2 1/3 inning.
Oberg, 2/3 of an inning, gives up a hit, walked 1 man intentionally, struck out 2. The hit did score a run, so that's an inherited runner scored, not charged to his docket though. And this is a mishit ground ball to short. Good pickup by Story.
Kind of got an in-between hop. It was a good pickup. You would like to be able to field this ball out in front of you and set it in your glove, but he had to kind of charge, but then he got an in between and he catches it back behind him ball rattles around in the glove momentarily. You see it rattling, but then he secures it on the Subaru Supermo, throws Segura out. We've been talking about Trevor, and he had that wide-ranging ball to his left. His range factor second in the National League. I mean, 5.14 assists and putouts per 9 innings.
I give Trevor a lot of credit because he has never, especially as a young player, taken his at-bats to the field.
And that's part of the reason why he was able to stay in the lineup when he wasn't hit, because you valued his defense.
2 outs, nobody on. Robbie Cano coming up. Robbie's 1 for 3. He's driven in a run.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.TV for more details.
Cano, despite the quad injury, hitting .368 in the month of May.
I mentioned his 9 years in New York earlier in the broadcast. He hit .309 while he was a Yankee. His OPS was .853.
That ballpark was perfectly designed for him. He's great. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But you know, you can loft that ball in the seats in right field. If you're a left-handed hitter, you can mishit him and they're going to be gone.
And that's why this next number is a little bit surprising to me, because Safeco's not quite the same ballpark, but his OPS in Seattle, .853.
He's got a foul ball off the end of the bat down the left field line. He's behind 1 and 2.
His batting average is 10 points lower, but that's just 10 points.
Huey, we'll talk more about this when we get to the beautiful city of Seattle on Wednesday. What happened? Oh, he lost his thumb guard, I bet. So last year, Safeco played completely differently than it has played in its history. It played like a hitter's paradise. A lot of home runs. 39 for Cano. Cruz is going to hit 40 anyway. He had 30 home runs from Seager.
Last year, they averaged 1.38 home runs per game. That was 3rd best. This year, just 1, which drops them all the way to 26th.
2-2 on Cano. And Charlie will get there with the long stride. So 1-2-3 inning from Jordan Lyles. Nice job at the top of the lineup. The Rockies will come up in the bottom of the 6th. LeMahieu will be first, trailing by 3. On this Memorial Day, USAA honors our fallen heroes. With Jeff Hewson and our entire Root Sports crew, I'm Drew Goodman. Memorial Day 2017, and the Rockies looking to rally here in the late innings. DJ will lead it off against Sam Gaviglio. Came in with an 0-1 record, 1.38 ERA though, which was impressive. Just a little more than 13 innings. Big league level prior to his start today. He's kept the Rockies off balance, gotten a lot of ground balls, and there's a lead single for DJ. It's the third time through, and because of that, even though the pitch count's just in the mid-70s, Scott Service has got James Pazos up to the bullpen.
James is one of their plus side guys.
He's one of two lefties they have in the bullpen. Veteran Mark Zepchinski the other.
If you're Scott, you're just thankful that he's gotten you at least into the 6th inning.
And a base hit the other way. Nicely done by Nolan. And now you get the tying run up in Cargo.
He was looking that way the whole time. He knew they were going to pitch him away, and all he was thinking is, I'm going to go that way. I'm not going to try to do anything more than that. Look at that. He just lets it travel, hit that ball so deep on the Subaru Supermo.
Scott Service with two lefties coming up in the next 3 hitters, saying, all right, I've got maybe more than I thought I could against this lineup with Sam Gaviglio, and he's going to take the baseball from the 27-year-old. 2 on, nobody out for the Rockies in the 6th when we return.
The bottom of the 6th inning, just down by 3, couple runners on, nobody out. Colorado Rockies home run for the homeless 5K is Sunday, June 4th. Go to Rockies.com/5K to register today. The pitcher for Seattle, James Pazos, pitched yesterday in Boston. Got a hold in that ball game, just 1/3 of an inning. He's been one of their top guys this year. Not allowed to run in 16 out of his 20 outings. Last 15 ball games at 165. Lefties hitting 136 against James.
Pretty simple. He's going to throw gas and a slider. He's averaging better than 96 miles an hour on his heater. Kid out of the University of San Diego. Grew up in the state of Arizona. So Cargo steps in, walked and scored in the fourth, the ground out the second also.
That's some cheese located on the corner.
That was 97. Back-to-back singles in the sixth inning. LeMahieu and Arenado. That gets away. And on the wild pitch, LeMahieu to third, Arenado to second.
Well, Seattle used it to their advantage earlier in the ball game. The wild pitch. That scored a run, but now for the Rockies, they move up a free 90.
Cargo this year, you know all about the slow start. You know he's been swinging it better. Didn't have a great weekend against St. Louis, but he's hit 255, 15 points better against lefties so far this year than righties. And this is slowly hit, and now, well, for a moment, yet a guy hung up, and getting his foot back on the bag was Valencia. Pretty good play by the pitcher, Pazos. One out.
He didn't get off the mound at all. I mean, DJ's going to score. DJ luckily read that. Segura's calling for the ball at second base because of where Nolan was. He was halfway to three-quarters of the way down to third.
Cargo won't be happy with that. Still tough at bat, left on left. So one out now. And Mark Reynolds, who's been outstanding, 43 driven in, so many clutch hits this year. That ball clears Pazos at all, even though it wasn't hit very hard. As you said, LeMahieu's going to score.
And Nolan moves up.
You got to cash in at least one here at minimum. Keep saying it like a broken record. This is where Mark Reynolds has been so different. His strikeout percent above 30 in his career, well above 30 at 22%. Right now, he's got the ball in play far more consistently. Ooh, his eye's been great also. 2-1.
That was pretty close. Yeah, I thought it was close on the Subaru strike zone, and it did catch him, but it was called the ball.
Yeah, he caught a break. Way inside. Parr is on deck. 3-1. Good swing.
It's right on that 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Still likes to go with the fastball against righties in these counts. Somebody like Mark that can hit the fastball. Did they call for the slider? Zunino go for it. Looks like he's asking for a slider down.
3-2, and this will get a run in. Nice job by Mark Reynolds. 6-4. It's huge, man. Get the ball in play, infield back against the guy with nasty stuff. Reynolds gets another RBI, his 44th. The Rockies within 2.
Mark Reynolds started off this at bat with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball that he swung through. But then they followed up with the 97-mile-an-hour ball inside 3 times in a row. You know what? Make it 4 times in a row. Had to count 3-1, then he fouls off a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and then just get the ball in play. Give me an RBI, and he does that for his 44th this year.
Here's Parra, who's been hot. He's hitting .294 against lefties. Takes ball 1. Double and a single for Gerardo. He drove in a run with his base hit in the 4th. Rockies have scored a run in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and now 6th. Inching back in it. They were down 6-2. Parra's got quick hands. He will drop the barrel on that, even if it's in the upper 90s.
And he's in a good place at the plate. Sometimes you have the quick hands, but if you're not there, you're not seeing the ball. It doesn't matter. But for Gerardo right now, he's locked in.
Nolan's at 3rd. You hate when that happens, but you're okay with it when it goes foul.
Ball. You're okay with it, it's foul ball. You're still not happy. But it beats the alternative where you dribble it back to the pitcher, hit a check swing to the 3rd baseman. And if you're Nolan at 3rd, be aware, because it is the open side, but the good thing is Seager's playing so far off the line that you don't have to worry about a back pick, but look for a ball in the dirt.
This ball, base hit, right center field. Gerardo Parra stay hot. He's going for 2, and he's in there with a double. What a job by Parra the last 24 hours. 6-5.
And as soon as he hit this ball, he was going 2. He was not stopping at first base. I love the aggressiveness from Gerardo. We talked about how he's locked in. Well, he's locked in on this 4-seamer. Little bit above belt high. And then for Cruz, making just his 3rd start this year in right field. He's a DH. He has played right field in the past, but he's not used to coming up and making this throw.
And that's a huge 90 feet. There's a time to do it. He was going the whole way out of the box because now with 2 outs, you're in scoring position. There are times that you rein it in. Now you get a knock here from Story, and you've tied up the ball game. Story went deep his last time, up to right.
And you can just feel the energy in this ballpark being lifted by this base hit and then the aggressive play. If Cruz has to go hard over into the right center field gap, he comes up throwing. Everything he did was right. It's just he hasn't had the reps out there.
Parra 6 for his last 7 the last 2 days, and 5 ribbies. Momentum has swung back to the home team. Rockies have got such outstanding pitching, and their offense has been steady. And today, a rarity. The offense is being asked, all right, you got to come from a big deficit. And they look like they're up for the challenge. I'm telling you what, just watching Story, it's a different guy than we watched the first 5-6 weeks of the season.
This is circa 2016, Trev.
Just quieter. I mean, that's the word that I keep coming back to.
It's everything. I don't know what's going to happen with his at bat, but just projecting better when he's standing at the plate.
Held up. 2-2.
Just too good of an athlete, too good of a ball player to carry those numbers like he did early part of the season.
This game can torment you. I need not tell you that.
I still have nightmares about this game. Wake up in a cold sweat. What happened? Oh no.
2-2. Strike three. He made a pitch. In the inning, the Rockies get two. Huge double with 2 outs from Parra. The Rockies within a run as we go to the 7th. Here's our Kubota pitching performance. The 2 starting pitchers today, Gaviglio and Chatwood. Gaviglio goes 5+, 5 runs, all earned, and Tyler went 4 1/3, 6 runs on 7 hits, all earned. Second inning of work for Jordan Lyles. He'll get Cruz, Kyle Seager, Danny Valencia. To make it another expeditious inning as he did in the 6th inning. 2 ground outs and a fly ball. Cruz today 0 for 2 and a walk. His ground out to third in the 3rd inning scored a run, so he does have an RBI. Scored a run also in the 5th after he walked. Ball 1 on Cruz.
And you have to get your ball club back in the dugout as quick as possible if you're Jordan Lyles. Offense is feeling good. They're in a good spot. You had the momentum from that last half inning. This has got to be a 1-2-3. Let's go.
There's a strike, 2-1. Levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right at the second baseman, LeMahieu positioned perfectly, 1 out. Nice job by Jordan. Huey coming back after falling behind, a slugger, 2-0.
Well, and the 4 outs that he's gotten, 3 have been on the ground.
Third baseman, number 15, Kyle Seager.
There's been no question about Jordan Lyles and his arm. He has the stuff. It grades out well. It's just been a case where it seems like it's 1 pitch per outing. It's hurt him. Looking at those numbers, Kyle Seager hasn't hurt Jordan 0 for 11 in his career.
Did hurt the Rockies in the 5th, though. He had a 2-run double against Tyler Chatwood. That was the last hitter Tyler faced. 1 ball, 1 strike on Seager. It's going to come down to the bullpens, it looks like. Seattle up by a run, 6-5. They've had a heavily used bullpen because of all their injuries to their starting pitchers. King Felix still on the shelf, though he's making his way back. James Paxton, who's outstanding, is going to come off the DL on Wednesday and face the Rockies in the first of 2 in Seattle. Shallow left field, Parra. 2 outs.
Well, it's hard when you're missing 4/5 of your rotation. You mentioned King Felix. He was 2-2 with the 473 in 5 starts. Iwakuma 0-2 with 6 starts. But these are veteran pitchers. And then James Paxton's coming back. Drew Smiley pitched really well in the WBC and then came back, had discomfort after his first start after coming back into spring training. So using 12 starting pitchers in 51 games, that hadn't happened since 2000, where you use that many pitchers. Sometimes you think 12 pitchers and it'll take you to September 28th. To use 12 starters.
On a perfect world, you hope you don't use 12 in a whole season.
Well, Seattle, or excuse me, St. Louis has used the same 5 starters all year long. They're one of 4 teams that's happened for.
St. Louis got beat today at home. They opened up that 4-game set with the Dodgers. Dodgers are hot as can be. They had an 8-2 homestand, and then they begin a road trip with a decisive 5-1 win at Busch Stadium.
Rich Hill started for the Dodgers today.
Alex Wood. Did he go on the DL?
Yeah, yes, he did.
Arizona at Pittsburgh tied at 1 in the 6th inning. 2-1 on Valencia. 2 hits for Valencia. That's 2-2. Rockies will have Walters, potential pinch hitter, and then Charlie Blackmon in the 7th. It looks like they're going to get Tony Zick, hard throwing right-hander. Good pitch.
Good job,
6
Jordan
up,
Lyles.
6 set down by Jordan Lyles. Really nice job by Lyles. Middle of 7, 6-5 Seattle. And on this Memorial Day, we're going to keep it right here for a rendition of God Bless America. Enjoy, everybody.
Fans, the Colorado Rockies are proud to host and honor those who sacrifice on behalf of us all. With us on the field today is Master Sergeant Jonathan Thompson. Master Sergeant Thompson joined the U.S. Army in 1999. He has since been a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division, assigned to NATO headquarters in Brussels, and later to 10th Special Forces Group. While in the 10th Special Forces Group, he served as a Special Forces medic during 4 combat deployments to Iraq and elsewhere throughout Europe and Africa. Recently, he served 2 rotations in Korea. Sergeant Thompson now serves as a Special Operations mountaineering instructor in the Colorado National Guard and will be applying to medical school. Sergeant Thompson is joined on field today by his wife, Sarah. Fans, please give a warm hero's welcome to Master Sergeant Jonathan Thompson and all of our nation's brave servicemen and women and their families. We thank you for your service and sacrifice. Fans, please rise as we honor our great country by the performance of God Bless America. Performing God Bless America today, representing the Colorado National Guard's 101st Army Band, is Staff Sergeant Lance Christensen. Please welcome Staff Sergeant Christensen and join him by singing along to God Bless America.
Inning, Drew Goodman along with Jeff Hewson. Rockies trailing the Mariners 6-5. Tony Walters will lead off. James Pazos still out there, at least for one hitter. Tony Zick continues to get loose in the Mariners bullpen. Pat Valleca's come out in the on-deck circle, and then it's Charlie Blackmon. Tony inside ball one.
I was going to say, it's going to be interesting to see how Scott plays this with Pat coming up next. Does he go to the right-hander? But then you got Charlie right after that. So
19 pitches in. He did pitch yesterday at Fenway.
yeah.
My guess is he's going to give him the full inning, if, you know, in a perfect world from a Seattle standpoint. Perfect world from a Rockies standpoint as Tony gets a base hit left on left and put it back in Service's corner. Once again, great job, Jordan Lyles. And a good eye there by Tony.
Yeah,
2-1.
Yeah, Jordan, 2 innings, at 3 ground ball outs, couple fly outs, and that strikeout. But he got his club back into the dugout. 1, 2, 3.
Tony's going to ground out to Cano here. And we'll find out how he's going to play, because if he's going to make a move, he'd do it for Valleca. And Scott Service is coming out. Ron Service, who played for the Rockies in 2000, scouted for the Rockies in 2005, takes the baseball, handed to Tony Zick when we come back. Rockies down a run with 1 out in the 7th. Here's our Cooney Lexus look back on this one so far. In the 5th inning, Kyle Seager extended Seattle's lead with a double. That chased Tyler Chatwood. It was 6-2. And then Trevor Story hit a home run to make it 6-3. And Gerardo Parra, who had 3 hits yesterday, including a 3-run home run, already has 3 hits today. His double scored Nolan Arenado with 2 outs. That made it 6-5. Rockies had produced their 4th run on an RBI ground out by Mark Reynolds. So with 1 out, Tony Zick. Rockies saw him in 2015 when they took 2 of 3 in Seattle. Zick in 14 games this year, 2.77 ERA, league hitting .234 against him. He's had some issues walking some guys at times.
Another hard thrower at 95 with this fastball. Sliders 81 miles an hour. Against righties, he'll just mix up the 2. It's almost a 50-50 split between what he throws.
Valaika softly hit the 3rd on a check swing, and he's out at first base by half a step.
A quick transfer from Segura. Strong throw to get Pat.
Segura played mostly second base with Arizona because Nick Ahmed.
He wears circles around that. Puts the ball into his glove. And then by a quarter step on the Subaru Supermo gets Pat.
So here comes Charlie. Blackman a line out, a home run to right center, and a ground ball to first. Charlie takes a strike. Blackman over his last 15 games hitting .422. 4 home runs, 18 driven in during that time frame. One and one. Talking to Charlie after the ball game yesterday, and asked him how he was feeling. He's played every game but one. Not a lot of days off, a lot of travel. He said, surprisingly, he goes, I feel great.
Good.
That's what you want to hear. Well, guess what? He's playing like he feels great.
There's ebbs and flows in a season where, you know, even you're playing every day, but you're getting your rest, you feel good. There's other times there'd be some off days, maybe you just don't feel right. And it's your body. You know, sometimes you do everything right and it just doesn't feel good. But for Charlie, it's good to hear that he's saying, you know, after 50, 51 games, it's still feeling pretty fresh.
And sometimes he told me it happens on longer homestands.
You hear that quite a bit from the guys.
This is a short homestand. Rockies home for just 5 ball games.
The next one's going to be even shorter, 2 games. When we come back off this road trip.
Hadn't looked, partner, is that right?
Yeah, play Cleveland 2 games, right back out on the road to Chicago and Pittsburgh.
That is weird. I didn't notice that. One, two. You get in the mode. I don't know if you're this way, Jeff. You get in the mode where you really, there are a lot of times I don't even know where we're going next. You just kind of, you get ready for that day's game. I guess, you know, players certainly do that, and you don't really peek that far ahead.
Just got to say, okay, we're going on the road. What do I need to pack?
Yeah. 1 and 2. And that misses 2 and 2.
Wow. Zick thought he had a strikeout. Charlie's not buying it. Just a skosh off the Subaru strike zone. That takes some nerves. Let that one go by. Nerves of steel.
And Zick strikes out Blackmon to end the inning. So the Rockies have a quiet inning in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. Seattle by a run. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Say yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Cheyenne Frontier Days. Log on to cfdrodeo.com for the full lineup. 6-5 Seattle leading. Rain has moved out. Still somewhat overcast as Adam Ottavino now will have the baseball not far from the state capitol, and Otto is going to give up a first pitch base hit to Zunino. Third time Zunino has been on today. Young man who'd been struggling coming in. Well, he sat on a first pitch slider. He did his homework.
And now you're going to get a bunt. You're going to get a bunt from Dyson. So you already got a pinch hitter.
It's Boog Powell on deck.
No relation to Boog Powell.
No relation, and certainly no physical relation when we show Boog in a moment. For those that remember the great Baltimore Oriole, Boog Powell was a large man.
Some good barbecue too at Camden Yards.
That misses 2-0. Yeah, so this Boog Powell is not all that big. The real Boog Powell was 6'4" and listed at 230. Yeah, much bigger than that. 17 big league seasons, 339 home runs. Nolan creeping in, and it's 3-0.
The older Boog Powell went to Key West High School.
How many folks lived in Key West, do you think, in the 50s when Boog Powell was growing up?
No idea.
Boog won a American League MVP award in 1970 with great Oriole teams. Here's the 3-1. Strike two. Come on back, Jared.
Last two pitches, 4 and 5 in the Subaru strike zone. Actually got away with one on the second pitch. Should have been called a strike. It wasn't.
Never did square around a bunt.
No, I know. I'm still a little perplexed by that.
And now you have 2 on and nobody out. And Buddy Black's going to go out. I think he made a move.
Yeah, he did.
Or maybe not.
No.
You know
what? Because he did it with his right hand.
And the only guy in the bullpen's a lefty.
Yeah. And then
he never fully raised his hand. You got to be careful with that too, because if the umpire.
Well, Scott Berry, he motioned towards the bullpen, but Buddy did it with his right hand. It said, it was waving and it never really pointed out there. But Scott Berry, I think, interpreted momentarily that he wanted to go to the bullpen, but nobody ever came in. And after that walk by Adam, Dougie handed me a note here, and it's not just our imagination. Walks are, last year he was averaging just 2.3 walks per 9-inning pitch. In 2015 it was 1.7. This year, prior to that last event, 5.7 walks per 9 innings.
And you keep waiting for him to find the release point and start.
But we're 2 months into the season.
Yeah, it's really been unusual. It's not, as you spoke of, we've mentioned it before, it's really unlike Adam. He's never really had command issues. Powell, he will try to get the bunt down.
And the Rockies had the wheel play on. You don't see that too often. You work on a lot during spring training, but what it is, you get Nolan crashing hard at third, and then Trevor going to replace him over at third base.
And you'll run it, Huey, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll run it a little bit more when you have a below average runner at second.
Yeah, and now what you run a lot of times afterwards is the pick play at second.
Not on here. Slice to left. Parra will get over and make the catch. And fired back. A perfect throw to DJ, and Zunino just got back.
And because they ran the wheel, they baited Boog Powell into swinging at this. Nolan started to crash. He stops. And how about the throw from Gerardo? That's pretty close.
Now you have Gene Segura up there. 0 for 3, and he was hit by a pitch and scored in the third. Absolute loose baseball and nowhere to go. Couldn't get it in time. And
Let's see
with command stuff, it's now not just the walks, but there's been some wild pitches when Adam's been out there.
And it's hard. It puts a lot of pressure on your catcher. Look at this pitch. I think Tony would like to have that one back because he tried to backhand it. It skipped off his glove instead of dropping down. But now you have to pull the infield in after you walk Segura. I think you'll see the left-hander come in now, and Jake McGee.
Rockies so sharp on the mound this year, but they're having an off day today other than the work of Jordan Lyles. Jordan was terrific. 6-5, bases loaded, 1 out when we return.
The 8th inning, Rockies ahead 6-5, but the bases are loaded. One thing you can do here at Coors Field, you can take a behind-the-scenes tour. Group and individual tickets available year-round. Call 303-ROCKIES. And inheriting this sticky situation is Jake McGee. 20 ball games on the year, 183 batting average against for Jake. Pitched in Philadelphia, did not pitch in the St. Louis series, but last time out an inning and 2 strikeouts. And with the left-hander coming in, Scott Service will go to his bench and pinch hit Guillermo Heredia for Gamble.
Heredia yesterday was 1 for 3 at Fenway in that 5-0 win and hit a home run.
That was out onto Lansdowne Street. I mean, it was way out over the Green Monster.
(6-5) Seattle. Mariners with the bases loaded, 1 out. McGee, former American leaguer, hits the inside corner, and it's 0-1. So we're talking about Key West and the exploits of Boog Powell. I figured there wasn't as many people there. In 1960, according to the census, there was 33,956 people. Today, there's 25,000, a little more than 25,000. So there was more people then. Shows you how much I know. Why is everybody leaving Key West?
Beautiful spot.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Corner infielders can play it anyway. You have to come get the ball, you'll go home. If not, you turn 2 up the middle, same thing. You just turn it 2.
McGee can get you a strikeout. 27 in 19 innings, and this is the 3rd foul.
And I know what Nolan was doing. He's saying, if I catch this, I can step on 3rd and then fire over to 1st for the double play. Because he's trying to drag his foot like a receiver will do as they're going towards the sideline. Watch the foot being drug on the bag. But it was a foul ball.
Fortunately, because that was going to be really tough to execute. Really tough, even for Nolan.
Even for the great one, yes.
Now you're ahead 1-2. See if McGee can get the strikeout on Heredia.
Some more lumber.
You could still use that bat. It's not illegal. It would be advisable.
Yeah, it's not like in hockey where if you break your stick, you just have to drop it.
Then if you're forward, you give it to the defenseman if it's a power play.
Yeah. Goalie loses his, you give it to the goalie. As a hockey club. As the playoffs, the Stanley Cup starts tonight.
Pittsburgh, Nashville. Who do you have? I know who you like. Well, I know who you like. I'm asking you, who do you think's going to win?
Pittsburgh in 6.
Mr. Hockey, you heard it first. Another 1-2 on Heredia. Rockies have been out hit 9-7 in this game. Ooh. 2-2.
Not close on the super strike though. It's just the way that Tony receives it and holds it just gave the appearance.
Got it. Big strikeout from Jake McGee. 2 gone. And now go left on left against the great Robbie Cano. Got to figure these two have matched up a bunch over the years in the American League East.
First for things first, he takes the fastball and elevates it. And now with Cano, he's 3 for 10 career. Previous matchups, a couple strikeouts against Jake.
Cano 1 for 4. He drove in a run with a ground out in the 3rd. Scored a run after singling in the 5th. And this ball is well hit to center. Charlie going back. He's going to have room. Jake McGee, well done. He works out of a bases loaded situation he inherited, and he keeps it a 1-run game as we go to the bottom of the 8th. 2, 3, and 4 for the Rockies. We recap the Rockies' longest road trip of the year. Cargo talks about his bat heating up. I'll sit down with Buddy Black, and you can meet a cyclist who's biking to all 30 big league ballparks this year. That's this week on the club, immediately following the post-game show today. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. It's getting late. The Rockies down just a run. They were down 6-2 at one point. And staying in the game is Heredia for Gamble in left field. And the former Padres aboard in the 8th inning, Nick Vincent, who played for Buddy Black. DJ will lead it off. DJ's 1 for 2 and a walk. Nolan after that, then Cargo, Mark Reynolds.
Vincent's never been a real hard thrower. He's been a strike thrower. That's what he's been in his career. It's fastball, changeup, will cut the fastball. Pitched a few days ago in Boston for his last appearance.
Made 60 appearances last year for Seattle. .30-year-old ready. 1-1 is bounced to second.
Third baseman, number 28,
Nolan a base hit and a run scored in the 6th. The Rockies scored single runs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Got 2 in the 6th. Seattle has Epchinski on the left side up and Altavilla up on the right side. Looks like Vincent will be done after this at bat with Nolan at the plate.
And they have gone back to Diaz as their closer because they'd moved him out of there for a while, more of an 8th, 7th, 8th inning guy.
Ball and 2 strikes on Arenado. We were discussing earlier how well the Rockies have played against a tough schedule. They're 17-11 against teams above 500. Against teams like Seattle below 500, they've done a really good job. 16-8, winning 2/3 of their games. Look out! Wow.
Let's just keep chasing you as a hitter. You don't know which way to go. And Nolan is fortunate because he never really got out of the way until the ball started to go by him on the Subaru Supermo. Still 3 or 4 inches away. Those are scary moments.
Three and 2. So the tying run aboard, Cargo coming up. He's just waiting for Epchinski to come in the game. He's assuming that Scott Service will make that move, and here he comes. So the veteran Epchinski will walk down the steps and jog in. We'll have that confrontation with Cargo when we come back.
We expect to win every day. That's our mindset, and everyone around, we walk around, everyone's like, hey, be ready, we're gonna win today, let's go. You know, it's our mindset, and you know, we're not just saying it, we're doing it.
They are most definitely doing it, and today they're trying to produce a win by coming from behind, down 4 runs. It's now 6-5. They have the tying run on after the walk to Arenado. Cargo coming up to face the veteran Mark Repchinski. Repchinski in 19 games this year has allowed the opposition to hit 103. Cargo's seen him a bunch 6 times, which is a fair amount for a guy who's a reliever. This is his 7th team. He saw him most prominently when he pitched for the Cardinals. He was a member of that 2011 World Championship team with St. Louis.
This year, lefty's hitting .038 against Mark. 1 for 26.
Cargo hooks it foul.
He's pretty much the definition of that lefty specialist. And he will face the occasional right-hander, but with those numbers, it's the best in the business right now at the .038.
Outfield very deep. And Cargo hits it slowly to Cano, and they'll get the lead runner. It's going to be another move. He'll go to the right-hander with Reynolds coming up. Two gone. Back in a moment. Out on a Memorial Day. They're watching Dan Altavilla warm up.
They look really concerned, don't they?
Look pretty calm to me.
For Dan, it's either been real good or real bad. Because in 11 of his 17 games, he hasn't allowed a run. But the other 6, 11 earnings. That gets you to the 5.94 ERA. Fastball 97 miles an hour, changeup 89, slider about 89.
Oh, while he warms up, I'll tell you a couple of interesting tidbits from on the farm with the Colorado Rockies. Brendan Rodgers, I don't know how much longer he's going to be in the Cal League. He went 3 for 4 yesterday to raise his league-leading batting average to .389 for Lancaster. So 405 with 4 home runs his last 10 games. One of the top prospects in all of baseball.
I imagine after come the All-Star break, and theirs comes earlier than it does at the Major League level, that he'll go to Double-A. They only have another week or 10 days, 2 weeks maybe down there.
Ball one on Reynolds. Mark drove in a run with a ground out to the right side in the 6th inning. His 44th RBI of the year, trailing just Charlie Blackmon, his teammate, for the major league lead. Two and oh.
And I was going to say, I know why Scott made the switch from lefty to the righty, matchup right. But for Mark, he's hitting 346 against right-handed pitching this year. You know, 250 against lefties.
Reynolds takes a strike. 98 on that heater. The other note from the minor leagues, Ryan McMahon, who's having an extraordinary year in Double-A Hartford, another top prospect, 3 for 4, 15 doubles now for him. He's 4th in the Eastern League at 329 with the bat. Here's the 2-1.
One final note on McMahon too. He's also playing some second base down in Hartford.
Came up as a third baseman. He's playing first and second. Got to be versatile.
You have to.
We'll go to the 9th. The Rockies still trailing 6-5.
Day. As we go to the 9th, 6 outs remain. Unless the Rockies can rally, they trail 6-5. Out here in center field, Mark Stout, Corey Sullivan, Ryan Spilborgs. Rockies have not had a walk-off yet this year. Yet.
I want to see it, but you know what? The first things first, the Rockies haven't played a clean game yet either. When you look at no errors, the team is great, but I'll count walks and hit by pitch. 7 free bases today. That's why the score is what it is.
Gerardo Parra done another great job. 3 hits today after a 3-hit performance. 1 homer yesterday, 3 RBIs. Let's see if he can get you what you called in the 3rd inning, by the way, for that walk.
Was that what I called
the
it?
3rd inning.
3rd inning. Hey, I'm an optimistic guy.
Yeah,
I love it.
And also, I'm up here, not down there, so
yeah.
That's how that works. Let's go back to Drew and Huey, guys.
Jake McGee, guys, will continue on in the 9th inning, and we hope your prognostication for the 3rd inning turns out to be wholly accurate here in a little bit. Cruz takes a strike. Great job to get out of a jam by McGee that he inherited in the 8th. He struck out Heredia, the pinch hitter, and got Robbie Cano on a fly ball to center field. Two-strike count. Crowd of more than 40,000 today on this Memorial Day. That's 4 straight crowds of over 40,000. Deep right, Cargo leaps and makes the catch.
A hold your breath moment briefly. Because Cruz is so strong. Even when he doesn't quite clip it, he's got a chance to go out. Cargo goes back, he hits the warning track, then he puts out his hand like, where's the wall? It knows that he's still a couple feet away. 2 catches out in right field. That last one secured on the Subaru Supermo. He had that 1 catch earlier in the game off the bat of Dyson in the 2nd inning.
Outside on Seager. Seager, 2-run double in the 5th. Chatwood gave up 3 in the 3rd and then 3 in the 5th. We talked many times about the command issue. We've seen Tyler be lights out in San Francisco and Philadelphia in his last outing. But what's hurt him more than anything, in addition to the command, is innings that just get away from him. Instead of, you know, a run where you get nicked, it turns into a crooked number sometimes.
Well, with the batting average against being pretty low, but the whip at 1.38 now. Just tells you there's more traffic out there.
Yeah, it's the walks. He's hard to hit. 2 outs, Danny Valencia. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Rockies are going to face Edwin Diaz. He's given up some home runs this year. They'll have Gerardo Parra, Trevor Story, and Tony Walters. And this is lined to the gap in right center field. Valencia has his 3rd hit. 2 guys who have been pretty quiet offensively for Seattle have had big days. Valencia and the guy coming up, Mike Zunino, single and a double and a walk today.
Valencia takes it to the off gap for his 7th double on the season.
And a quick strike.
Got to finish him off here. He's hitting 0-71 with runners in scoring position. You got 2 strikes, 0-2 count.
Jake is ready. 2 outs, a runner at 2nd.
Seattle today 2 for 12. They've had 12 chances with runners in scoring position. The Rockies just 2 for 6.
Here's the 1-2. And Zunino fouls it off again.
Jake had to step off the mound for a moment because the wave was going behind home plate at the time.
Another 1-2. And he gets an Eno. Boy, that Jake McGee's had a terrific year. Not mentioned enough. He's been fantastic in year 2 with the Rockies. Now it's time for the backs to have a magical finish. Sports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more. Appropriate that we'd read that right there because the Rockies trail 6-5 going to the bottom of the 9th inning. 7 would be really, really, really nice.
We need one. We need 7. We need a walk-off.
Well, the Rockies have not had a walk-off win yet in 2017. They've done about everything else in getting off to the best start in franchise history. They're the best team right now record-wise in the National League. And they'll try to get after the kid from Puerto Rico, former 3rd-round pick, 23-year-old Edwin Diaz. Reached the big leagues last year because he can punch guys out.
Well, he helped Puerto Rico finish 2nd in the WBC, 5 1/3. 2 saves, 9 strikeouts. He did well last year for Seattle in a month and a half of work.
He's the 6th pitcher to emerge from that Seattle bullpen this afternoon. Gerardo Parra, 3 hits today after 3 last night. 2 doubles and an RBI single. Parra takes a strike. Gerardo with back-to-back 3-hit ball games for just the 2nd time in his career. Story on deck.
I said it earlier, Diaz was removed for just a little bit of time from the closer's role. 8 for 10 saving ball games for Seattle this year.
He's ahead 0-2. Game is never played on paper. You think on this one going in, you have Chatwood coming off 7 innings of shutout baseball against a young kid who's not overpowering in Gaviglio. Gaviglio did give up 5 runs, but he's on the plus side right now.
Well, some of those were given up after he came out of the ball game. But it just seemed like he's kind of due for a market correction. The BABIP was low at 228 when the major league average is right around 300. You got to figure a way to get to Diaz now.
2-2. 1 gone. story today. Fly ball to center field, a home run to right, and he was called out on strikes in the 6th. Heavy fastball on the corner. It's 0-1. And 2 strikes.
Maybe get followed up with a 90-mile-an-hour slider. So guys are geared up for that fastball. It's tough to hold up.
Tony Walters on deck. Goes beyond that, you'll see Ian Desmond. Walters will try to save an at-bat for Desmond. 2 outs in the 9th. Second time Tony's almost gotten hit by an upper 90s fastball today. His last time up, James Pazos almost hit him.
Tony's had 2 rollover ground balls today. You know that he's just thinking, stay centered now.
Tony bounces this one to third, and that is the ball game. The Rockies, for just the 2nd time this year, lose a 1-run affair, and for just the 4th time this year, they lose a series opener. They're now 13-4 in series openers, and Sam Gaviglio earns his first major league victory. He's 1-1. On a day he got his first major league hit as well. Tyler Chatwood takes the loss. He's 4-7. Diaz picks up his 9th save. Time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Gaviglio let that one go, turned into a double play, did enough to earn his first big league victory. Rockies couldn't come all the way back from a 6-2 deficit. They fall to 6, they fell 6-5, and they fall to 33-20 on the season. The Mariners improved to 23-29. Time to get you to center field. Here's Mark Stout. Mark.
All right, Drew. Rockies still 13 games over 500. Tough game. They couldn't come back.
I like the positive. Third inning, 3 runs on only 1 hit. That's never a good sign.
I'll take the negative, but I'll tease it for when we get back.
Toyota postgame show comes your way next.